Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is all about preparation on a real chessboard with no digital interface. So now you are able to understand the Italian Scotch Gambit Anderssen attack, following by a 15-move line of a strong preparation. Let's jump right into it. White opens with the king's pawn, controls the center, the f5 and d5 squares, and opens up this long diagonal to the bishop, which blacks immediately respond with e5, contesting the center, and controls d4. Instantly, white goes for knight f3, developing the knight towards the center, attacks the e5 pawn. Knight c6 develops the knight and protects the pawn on e5. Also keeps an eye on d4, fighting the center. Bishop c4, the characteristic move of the Italian game, which attacks the f7 pawn, that is the worst weakness of the black, and this move also prepares to castle. In the meantime, black goes for knight f6, developing another piece towards the center and attacking the pawn on e4. White instantly strikes in the center with d4, attacking the e5 pawn and increases the pressure. Black immediately takes the pawn, releases the pressure, but this also opens the center. White is thinking for a bit here. What is the plan for white? Okay, first white starts to put his king on safety, sacrificing another pawn, but get ready for action on the center of the board. And black takes another pawn, showing no afraid of his king's safety. How will white show the compensation for the pawns? First, start to centralizing his rooks and pinning the knight on e4, a logical move. Which black immediately respond with d5, defending the knight on e4 and attacking the bishop on c4 at the same time. Also opens up this long diagonal to his light squared bishop. Bishop takes d5, takes back one pawn by sacrificing a piece, but white is following his preparation here and will take back his piece next move. And white here plays his characteristic move of the preparation and takes the piece back next move. Can you find it? There you have it, knight c3, attacking the queen and the knight at the same time. Black cannot capture the knight with the d4 pawn, so the queen will be hanging. In the meantime, black goes for queen h5, so the queen moves away from the attack but keeps very active on h5, firstly controlling this rank, preventing the knight to jump to b5 or d5, so the knight would make a double attack on c7. Secondly, the queen keeps an eye on this diagonal and the white's king. In the meantime, white takes the piece back and his knight is controlling these many good squares. Black just continues his development and put his bishop on the right file, avoiding discovered checks on the e file, preventing from tactics and eventual checkmate. White also develops his last piece and goes for bishop g5, preventing the black's king from castling for the time being. Black follows up with bishop d6, a very useful move that brings his last piece into the game and makes castling possible. Knight takes bishop d6. White here decides to take the bishop with the knight and creates an isolated pawn on d6, forcing black to have two double pawns on the d file, which we are already seeing it on the board. In that sense, white brings back his light square bishop to attack on these pawns. The d6 pawn. The queen comes to the center of the board, stays centralized, and defends both pawns for the moment. Excellent move for black. C3. Black cannot take the pawn because white will grab the queen and black cannot take back with the bishop that is pinned by the rook on the e-file. That's the reason black castles it out just right away. This is a well-known theory, guys, already played out hundreds of times before. Knight takes d4, takes back one pawn and puts his knight on the center of the board. Knight takes knight on d4, taking the knight and creating an isolated pawn on the d-file too. White goes for the best move on the position and takes with the queen, activating his queen that was very passive on the back rank. Black removes the queens off the board and fights for an equal position. This was a training, instructive and educational content that allows you to learn how to play this strong preparation. By following a 50-move line, you stay focused on that variation from start to finish, avoiding getting lost in excessive nuances. So you reach the end of this line with greater clarity. This preparation is very accurate because most of the moves are theory, the well-known moves played hundreds of times before, and then a few moves suggested by the computer. This content is important to you, not only to know the moves of this variant and memorize them, but to understand the line and the ideas behind. So the challenge for you to learn and improve is this great opportunity to follow these 4 steps. Comment your thoughts below. Suggest a new opening for me to do another strong preparation for you. Oh, and just subscribe to be part of this community. There is a lot of high quality preparation coming your way. A huge and sincere thank you to you.